The Chicago Bears had a very disappointing season last year, which ended with them having the worst record in the NFL. But actually, some of the young players showed flashes of the potential they have, and this is a rare case where after a 3-14 season, the team is still looking to build around the young core. In this video, I'm going to be recapping what the Bears have done so far this offseason and why I think they can compete in the North in the 2023 season. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. I'm on the road to 20k subscribers, and we are just growing super fast right now. Alright, so starting off, I definitely need to talk about Justin Fields because he's the man that will determine how good the future of this team can be. Last season, Fields was able to keep the Bears in every game, and they rarely lost by more than one possession, which is great to see. But you can definitely tell that this team needs work on closing out games because they should not have only had 3 wins. But I guess at the end of the day, this was the best thing that could have happened because Chicago, of course, ended up getting the first overall pick, and they were able to trade it away for an absolute haul, and they got Fields another elite level target in DJ Moore. What the Bears are doing right now is kind of reminding me exactly of what the Cincinnati Bengals did to boost their rebuild, but I don't think Fields is at the same level as Joe Burrow, so don't expect this team to make a massive jump to like the Super Bowl or anything near that. But Chicago also has a lot more cap space to work with, so I'm definitely interested to see how this all plays out over the next few years. I really think that Ron Poles has done a great job with the assets given to him in his time being GM so far, and I think the Bears have had one of the best off seasons in the entire league, and they addressed many of their holes. But again, I can talk all about the trades and pickups this team has made, but we're gonna have to see it all work on the field before I can call them legit. And honestly, I don't even think we have a good idea of what Justin Fields is as a player because we've seen the upside and the pure talent, but we just haven't seen the consistency with some throws. But I personally think he'll be fine, and as an Ohio State fan, I was able to watch this guy make crazy plays that not many others can. Alright, now moving on, I want to talk about the running back room because it looks drastically different than just a year ago. D'Onta Foreman and Khalil Herbert will lead the way and probably will be competing for touches all year. Foreman is more of a veteran presence, and last season he put up over 900 yards with 5 touchdowns, and for Herbert he had around 700 yards with 4 touchdowns. I'm definitely interested to see who's going to get the starting duties once the season is in full go, but again, with Fields at QB, in terms of the production, it's almost like there's another running back on the field, so I don't think losing David Montgomery is a big deal at all. In terms of the wide receiving core, I already mentioned DJ Moore, who they were able to trade for from the Panthers in the huge blockbuster trade that included the first overall pick in the draft. In 2022, Moore put up about 900 yards with 7 touchdowns, which is pretty good considering that Carolina was all over the place last year in terms of QB play, and they just weren't trying. Outside of Moore, the Bears actually have a little bit of depth in Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool, who they just traded for from the Steelers. I know none of these 3 players are anywhere near superstar level, but all 3 of them are above average, and I think they will make a solid unit that Fields has never had anything like before. And now, last but not least for this offense, I've got to talk about the offensive line because they will be the most important part of if this team can do anything in the near future, especially with the way this offense is ran. According to some of the coaches, this line is already starting to gel in camp, and they need to stay healthy because last season, this team had 10 different starting line combinations, which is something they are definitely looking to avoid this year. Alright, now I gotta talk about the defense because if they can find ways to get turnovers and put Justin Fields in a good starting position, then that will go a long way. I think many people overlook just how big of an impact a good defense can have on an offense. And this defense made a ton of changes this offseason, so man, do I got some stuff to talk about. The first move I gotta start off with is the signing of Tremaine Edmunds, who has been one of the best linebackers in the entire NFL for most of his career. And it doesn't stop there, because the Bears also brought in TJ Edwards, who is also a linebacker and was one of the better players on that Eagles team that went all the way to the Super Bowl. So just those 2 moves alone completely changed the dynamic of this defense, but things most definitely don't stop there. In the draft, the Bears traded up in the 2nd round to steal Tyreek Stevenson, who is a DB that played at both Georgia and Miami, and then they drafted Terrell Smith, who is a corner out of Minnesota in the 5th round. Alright, so now that I've pretty much covered the secondary, I want to move on to the defensive line because they were pretty weak last year, but Ryan Poles was able to completely transform it this offseason. The first thing he did was sign Demarcus Walker, who had 8 sacks and 32 pressures in 2022 for the Titans. This was a super underrated pickup that I think should get talked about a lot more. And they also signed DT Andrew Billings to a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. So yeah, overall, the Bears just made so many changes this offseason, and it may take a little while for them all to gel, but I think this team is headed in the right direction, and like I've said a million times, I am so excited to watch how this all pans out. I really think Justin Fields has what it takes to get this team to where it needs to be, and now that he has the weapons around him, I expect him to take a big leap, and he's gonna turn a bunch of heads. That's really all I have to say for this video. It's actually crazy that we are now only 4 weeks away from the start of the preseason, and even though I don't want to wish summer away, football is just so much fun to watch, and with everyone starting to get excited, there is just so much to talk about, so let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly means the world. I'm definitely going to be making a ton of content in the near future, so make sure to stay tuned, and until next time, I will see you all later.